Celebrate YouTube channel. Today's class will learn how to make this beautiful corn sleeve. It's a very simple tutorial and it is beginner friendly. If this is something you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so to make this corn sleeve, I'm working with this Ankara fabric. You can use any fabric of your choice, and I'm going to be using this gum stay as my interfacing. So if you want it really hard, you can use color stay, you can use peplum stay, or any stay you want, depending on the result you want to achieve by the time you're through. So now I'm going to be folding my fabric into two, depending on how big you want your corn to be. So for me, the length I'm going to be working with is going to be around 8 inches, including allowance. You can do more or less depending on what you want. So I'm folding into two first, like I've just folded here. Then I'll make sure that I have up to the 8 inches that I need. So I'm just confirming that. So this is where I have my 8 inches. I'm just going to shift it to that side. So after folding into two, the next thing is for you to fold it like you're folding your 180-degree flare, like a triangle, like a cone. So you just bring it like this and then fold. You can see how we have folded it. Then after folding it like this, from the apex point, which is here, you're going to measure that length that you want to work with. In my case, I'm working with 8 inches, so I'm going to measure 8 inches round from that starting point. So after measuring the 8 inches round, you're going to connect it and then you cut. So now for your lining, you're going to fold your fabric again the same way you have folded this, and then you're going to cut exactly what you have. So we need two of this. So I folded this again and I'm just going to place it on it like this. Then after placing it, make sure it matches each other, and then you just cut it out. Exactly the same thing. So now we are through with the cutting. You don't need too much fabric for this. So in the thumbnail there are two layers, which means one layer is going to be shorter, which means one pair. Okay, remember this is a pair, main fabric and a lining. So if you want two layers, it means you're going to be cutting two of these. Then for the next one, you make it longer or shorter depending on how you want your corn to be. So it can be 1 inch or 2 inches long, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, or 2 inches longer, so that I can show the difference between each layer of your corn. So now when you open it up, this is what it looks like. Like I said, it looks like an half, like a half circle. So now the next thing is for you to fuse your interfacing to this. So you take it to your ironing table and then gum your gums. This one is very soft, so I'm just using it for the purpose of this tutorial. But if you're making yours, you may want to consider using something stiff so that the cone can stand very well. So I'll take this to the ironing table now and fuse it to it and bring it back to show us. Okay, so I fused it to it now. I fused it with both the lining and the main fabric because it's soft. If you are using something strong, it's just fuse on the lining alone. So now to turn it, I'm just going to place them against each other like this, and then I'll take it to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew around it. Then I'll leave small space here to turn it out. So I've sewn it round now, and like I said, I just left this small space to turn it out. So you can notch it round and then you turn it to the right side through the space that you left. So after turning it, you bring out all the sharp points and then you close up the space that you left. So you can either sew on it or you just put a hemming gum in between the seam allowances and then you iron it so that you can glue it together if you don't want to sew it. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. I'm just going to go ahead and close up this small space and then I'm going to iron this really flat. Okay, so now it is ironed and this is what it looks like. You can see how flat this is looking. So now the next thing is to fold this over like this on this open part, and then you take it to the sewing machine and sew it straight. So now it depends on how sharp you want it to be on the sleeve, on the ham by the time you place it. So you can just sew it straight like this, but if you want it pointed, if you want to pointed, what you're going to do is to measure like 2 inches here, and then you connect it in a diagonal form so that you can have something pointed by the time you place it on the sleeve. So when you place it on the sleeve, you can see it's going to be sharp like this towards this side, but if you want it on the same level, you just sew it with the same allowance, and then you have something like this. I hope you understand that. So I'm just going to sew it on this point so that I can have something that is a bit elongated, and then we'll go to the mannequin to see what it looks like. Okay, so it is sewn now, and then I'm just going to trim this off. So you can see that the allowance that we have here is a little bit much. So when you're cutting it, you're supposed to trim it off like this to this shape when we're cutting it, but because I want to show us two different ways you can close this up, that's why I did not trim it off. So when you're cutting it, before you turn it out, you can just hold it into two and then shape it in a diagonal form like this so that I won't have this much allowance. So now I'm going to turn it to the right side so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what our coding is looking like now. So we'll take it to the mannequin so that we can see how to place this. So we're on the mannequin now, and this sewn part that we have on the sleeve is what you're going to be tacking to your shoulder area like this. So you should have like a strap already on your shoulder, and then you're just going to tack this part to the shoulder here so that it can hold this. I'm just going to hold it with a paper tape so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, I've held this down now, and this is what it looks like. So you can see how beautiful it is looking. So it depends on how long you want it to be. Remember, this is what 8 inches give me. If you don't want it this long, you can make it 7 inches, 6 inches, or even more than this if that is what you want. And then you can just make it in any layers you want. So whatever layers you have, you're just going to place it on top of it and then tack them together so that they can be together for you to sew it to your strap. I hope you enjoyed making this simple tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.